This is both a eulogy and the legend of Manscorpion Tark. He was a quiet one, but that would be his undoing. After biding his time, a special undead came upon him, one who believed the world revolved around them, for often it did. Yet in this one moment, they were encapsulated by a notion of objectivity. Tark said nothing, did nothing, simply stood there biding his time the same as ever. Yet this, the chosen undead could not allow. They struck Tark down with great difficulty, not out of malice, not for the thrill, nor for any worldly gain. They did it simply because he broke their illusion that they were all important, that all beings they came across were either allies or prey. Neutrality was not a notion they had ever considered, that a being could simply just exist, that it could just be. And so the mighty Manscorpion perished at their hands, but the story doesn't end here. Though the undead sought no worldly treasure, they thought to commemorate the event by taking one of Tark's stingers. He won't be needing it, they thought, because unlike the undead, he won't be coming back. At Tark's grave, they offered a final tribute, perhaps out of respect for his strength as a foe. If this undead believed in anything, it was meritocracy, that one's greatest foes helped oneself grow more than any friend ever could. Yet, upon offering a modest gift, they were met with a vision. Manscorpion Tark, in all of his former glory, back from beyond the grave. Of course, this was only an illusion, they thought, a spectral visage of my own imagination. Of course, the temptation to communicate with this vision was too great. The undead relented and tried speaking to him once more, only to be met with the same unflinching silence. Yet this time they could not retaliate. The undead learned the hard way: you cannot kill one who is already dead. Much time passed, and the undead faced a foe without peer. Nearly giving up, facing total despair, they remembered this token, the last reminder of Tark's existence, which they had been keeping as little more than a decoration. However, what harm would it do to try using it as a weapon? Nothing else was working. And although its poisonous barb was potent enough to wound even a deity, it was indeed not enough. In that moment, they looked deep within themselves and slayed them using their old ways, or so they thought. Nearing the end of their long journey, this undead encountered their greatest foe once again. They couldn't believe it. Perhaps this was simply its ghost, a spectral vision not unlike that of Tark. Yet this vision was not so silent. It roared and sliced with fury just as great as its worldly form. With greater confidence, the undead had no doubt they could defeat a foe they felled before. Yet, not only were they humbled, they once again tasted despair on its blade. For the second time, they nearly gave up everything they had fought for. Was this being even mortal? Could it even die? If I kill it this time, will it simply come back to torment me again? That's when it hit them. It did not simply come back to torment them. Just as Tark was not silent as a slight, this being existed with its own volition. The undead had stumbled upon this being, not the other way around. In this moment, they realized their conceit. It is my own fault for not snuffing out his fire completely. We will see which of ours is true and which is a pretender. For a soul of fire never dims as its kindle is will. Wielding the weapon of Tark once again, they faced this being without peer, not with malice or anger, but with poise and calm. They sought no prize, no glory, no satisfaction, just as they did not kill Tark to take the stinger they now held. All they wanted was to know, whose being burned stronger with the will to live, with the strength to triumph, whose soul was truly eternal. With calculated precision and the patience only an undead could possess, they made sure to leave no chance of recovery for this monstrous foe, for Tark's poison showed no mercy. Even as it lay dying, this demon was still afflicted by it. Which faded first, its life or Tark's poison? Though the battle was won, the undead felt a sense of longing. It could only be one thing. They returned to Tark's grave for a final show of respect. This time, they did not try to speak to Tark. Instead, they struck his grave with his very own stinger. This time, it was not out of an ego-driven fury, but deference. The stinger broke either by the force of the blow or the strength of Tark's indomitable will. Though the undead could have tried to repair it to its original condition, they never did. For a true victor has no foe left to strike.